Apocalypse Day 6. And I'm just going to relax and do maybe a long one. Practice that meditation about making your eyes happy. The rest of your face can be serious. My eyes are happy. And it changes you. It goes, seeps into the back of your head with good energy. And it actually takes some pain away. I've noticed that. But you have to make an effort. You have to remind yourself. And then I was trying to reduce it to less and less actual effort. And there's just the thought of happy eyes is almost enough to do it. But there's muscles in your eyelids, even behind your eyes. AZOPALIX Day 6, Part 2. AZOPALIX means we're bringing the happy finale. AZOPALIX, it's going to get great. We're doing it. It's happening now. How many people are on board with this? Can we just change our attitude and start making it happy everywhere? Yeah, but then we got to take away the real sources of fear. You want to do injustice and poverty. We can solve blindness with medicine now, but it's like they need fear and loathing until they get to the right medicine now. So we have the techniques and the technologies and all this wisdom. But you need money, and what's that? And there's all the fear. Like, what is it in this questioning and doubt? The unknown. So it is as it is, not as we would like it, but as we would like it is what it is also. Except that it's more complicated than we think it needs to be. Oh gosh, we have a fantastic body. We can use it. It seems simple. Our five senses, actually many more senses. You have an inner sense of happiness that you can translate into good energy. That's triggered by small muscles in your face. That's the subtlety of senses that we actually have when you get back into sensing your own body on the many different levels. Somebody else was talking about we have 35 senses. I don't know if you can count them all. Just try to sense every part of your body all at the same time. Almost impossible. I'm thinking my hands right now. All these practices of getting back into the wisdom of your body. It's amazing how it works. The recent science is making it like you got all these videos and cartoon versions of molecules moving around. It's happening on a constant, amazing, ridiculous level. How many molecules do you have in your body? I mean, cells. These are intelligent systems. Who's running all of it? Obviously, there's an internal liberty and an internal intelligence. That's what the complex. It's what it means that we are lucidity. We are things as they're meant to be, workingness and understandingness, and it's complicated. And we're trying to get to a place where we're taking all the fear and doubt out of the material plane so we can enjoy it in a relaxed fashion, knowing that spirit itself is eternal. But see now, if you don't get a full explanation of what's going on, we have partial explanations that are competing, and that's causing fear and loathing. People pointing fingers at different spirit schools. Oh man, they almost got it right. Their God's almost cool, but he's got ulterior motives. Like, boy, what the fuck? Excuse me, New York. I'm still. Where does all this ulterior motives come from? Comes from late in the game. At first, everybody's just happy to be like buzzy. I'm talking about the molecules that created that were part of the Big Bang, turning the chemistry. Things start moving towards expressing being there-ness in a happier and more focused way, as if that's where it comes from, and trying to bring the material plane back in line with like what we can sense as beings, even before it's there, because what's there comes from what we feel and sense. Oh, that's the magic thinking that the spirit schools espouse. Both the Buddhites, those are all the ones that are generic spirit, usually going to the one mind, the oneness of it all. Strangely, that corresponds with the materialites. From a pure materialite perspective, bring it all back to the Big Bang, where it's all one little tiny, smaller than the smallest possible thing, which in the material plane, Planck's constant. But there's nothing saying you can't get infinitely smaller than that if you're just spirit and pure presence. And a lot of the spirit science is saying that's where the vibrations of pure spirit, that's why we can't measure them, because they're smaller than Planck's constant. And now they're actually able to explain this. You have nanotubules in your brain, in your nerve cells that are small enough to pick up the quantum things happening at the Planck's constant size. Incredibly. How does that all work? And scientists are still trying to mathematically just let it be, and like it would all have by itself. Yes, it would all have by itself if you give it the starting point of beingness and lucidity. And lucidity includes compassion, compassionate heart. That's the Buddhite explanation. The Jehovahite explanation says not only all of that, which means, and not only is it like this kind of energy of goodness happening kind of spontaneously everywhere, but yeah, we also have an overview perspective, which is very parallel to the one you have right now, looking at me and judging all this and trying to understand and thinking, I only have 5 more minutes to look at this video. All that focused intentionality. That's the Jehovahite energy. And as things came into being in the material plane, in this physical cosmos, which came from one point, materialites are like, we can't explain that, so maybe let's try to have previous ones, as if that explains anything. Infinite regression paradoxes do not explain anything. The materialite cosmos by itself, where did it come from? They just say, Big Bang, wham, now we can explain everything else. Okay. By the way, it comes from one point and is quantumly entangled. Everything is quantumly entangled. Right there, you can almost explain how karma and fate happens, because your intentionality brings you back to where you came from. And strange, it makes sense if you just say it's layered intentionality coming from a source of liberty itself, which before it even knows what it's doing is by its own natural living energies, kind of a bliss and vibrational harmony brings it towards the right configurations, and then the way things stack in the physical world. The physical world is the edges between presences, and then they bump, and that's physicality in between. And somebody put it just straight up: the whole physical cosmos results from quantum entanglement of points of consciousness. Now the Buddhite version has just one point. Yeah, there's a oneness to it all, and yet there's infinity of us. How does that work? And then, so the Buddhists want to unify it all, and that's understandable. But then, how does this all move forward? So precisely, and you've got seemingly active agents in the focused intentionality dimension of strategies and events, Jehovah and others. But Jehovah and Sophia are the ones responsible for the material plane, as if that was their child. I saw this in vision. There's other visions that are similar, and there's something about that that's probably real, or we wouldn't be getting echoes of it as visions. Those of us that are trying to pick up on the energies of it. But you try to explain it from any of these angles separately, it doesn't quite add up. How is it possible we've got this place, especially right now, the political, economic, and even environmental, physical situation on the planet is end times. We were like, crap, the systems are overloaded. They're systems that are not conscious. The conscious part of our global system, which is our economy and our politics, it doesn't match the complexity of how things really work. So we're ending up having to, we're suffering from that. These are shortcuts people did but there's efficiencies that we've gained in the process. And it's a process that's brought us here to a whole global reckoning, but it's all been moving forward. We have amazing new science that details how this all works. So the mystery is out of it, the doubt is out of it. And yet, until you understand that, yes, it's perfectly aligned with where it needs to go. So the biblical prophecies are pretty close to what's going to happen if we just let it happen like that. But prophecies are never about this is what's going to happen. You're stuck. Where's free will in that one? And free will isn't something that, as I say, the Jehovite explanation is foreshortened so that you don't have to get all into the paradoxes of it all. It's a circular paradox that actually brings this thing about. And I saw this in vision as the cornerstone of the material plane, and it was a three-sided orbit made of lightning on a haze background representing one mind potentiality. But it was a single three-sided orbit with a single point in the middle, like something that captured that energy, and it was called this. A three-sided paradox is the cornerstone of the material plane. Well, as above, so below, and that fractals out in all different ways. And the three-sided paradox aspect applies to the fact that perfectly physical materialite explanation, the Buddhite explanation of the one mind that we're all part of, including Jehovah, as well as the Jehovite explanation that says, yeah, but there's like a leader, like a chief, and like the daddy somehow, because pre-material plane something happened, and then the material plane is like the child of two of these infinite spirits, and the other one was Sophia, but she was the receptive and came first and was alone for a minute, and that kind of caused ripples of pain and fear. And when that resolved, this entity Jehovah was there and others, but he was the one that came in first and is responsible for the active intentionality part of the cosmos, as if there were one. That one's really hard to prove, but it's visible in the fact that things are so perfectly designed. Because there comes a point in terms of biology and chemistry where you could probably influence from many spirit angles. Uh, there are schools that say Earth was a place where we just let spirits design new animals as if it were a school, and that's how you end up with the platypus and other things. That was a school project for some spirits classes. Kids, this is how you do. Yeah, right. Whatever, something like that. And so now you have almost the craziest possible scene happening. Everybody's saying it's happening now, and I'm saying it's happening now. We might have disclosure of UFOs in the next couple of years or even this year. I personally have my own personal already disclosure, not even from a UFO, from a dimension. And I have a photograph of that. I'll include it in this post again. And these things do come together. It works. Whatever your understanding of it is secondary to the fact that it works. When you allow for directionality from the Jehovite side and focus intention, then the Bible prophecies make sense because it's okay. That's it. We're not going to just keep having these very painful ascensions over and over and over and over in this incredibly infinite universe. And so Earth is like almost a perfect, in terms of the political and economic and historical and all the influences, it's a situation that's as difficult as you can imagine possibly solving. As a planet healer, I've been on different planets. Let's just say. And I've seen ones that are, forget it. You can't do anything about it. Just get away from that one. And others that are like not that hard to figure, just a little misunderstanding. But this one is perfectly calibrated, it seems, for each one of us to have a vital role in solving some of the issues that are causing fear and loathing, like on the material level, how each of us gets fed without trampling each other's rights and turning us into slaves of each other. And obviously, it's not simple. And now we do have the capacity to do it. We have automation. AI should not be used for shortcuts. AI should be used for what it's. I mean, it's a heavy tool. Use it for a heavy project. How to help plan this more intimate but more complex economic interaction that can happen, so we can integrate the left wing values of taking care of everybody with justice and freedom. That's kind of a right wing one, but and then the right wing values, if you got to earn it, do it on the ground, do it for real. If you were to have a network of businesses that treat their employees right, that have proper respect for the environment and each other, and really keep it all fair and everybody's getting what they really deserve, as well as what we can afford to just give away because we're supposedly neighbors and friendly, happy, love thy neighbor as thyself, as thy God. It makes it so simple, but you can't forget the word neighbor. It means actual people next door. And to make it actually coherent, you need the whole community. And now we have a global 8 billion. Yeah, it can still work. And if we do it intelligently with love and expectation of great things, a lot of these things that are businesses now, or everything gets retrofitted into being more informed from the consumer side, more informed from the production side, in terms of actual use, and you integrate it into what I'm calling the community-based paradigm. And this is what we're going to be able to do, and we can do it soon.